and then each NBA player is worth 10 to 15 million or makes 10 to 15 million, but like their owners are capitalizing off of them like billions and millions.
Jello Beats, holla at me.
Um, Thank you for having me on here, and I'm ready to answer any questions you got for me. You grab my water bottle 1 second.
Hey, that's how I'm doing.
Awesome.
More so, I got some questions. Today we're talking about basketball, the experience of being a young black male from the Bronx, people's expectations of you, and you play ball. We're both ballers. We've had different experiences growing up and different expectations. So, the first question I have is in my list of questions. What are the expectations for black kids who play basketball?
Yes, yes. I think that's a good question. So where I'm from, in the South Bronx, a lot of young black youth strive to be basketball players. They see it as their way out, in a sense. They're in the hood, they're living in impoverished conditions, and there's always been this narrative that basketball is like this pinnacle that you have to reach, and that you should like go hard all the time. So, like playing basketball is almost seen, yeah, it's seen as like the golden ticket. So like there's a lot of expectations, there's a lot of pressure. With those expectations can come like, a lot of negative stuff. Like one of the things is that black kids are expected to be naturally good at basketball, and it's sad. A lot of black kids are not good at basketball. So they kind of get put on like the back burner almost, in a sense. And it's just like that expectation can kind of like lead to embarrassment, because like you're say like, for example, like you're with your friends, and like your friends play ball, but like you're not really a baller. And then you get on the court with them, and there's a bunch of people in the crowd on the sidelines watching, and it's just like it's nerve wracking, because like you're not a basketball player, but now you have this expectation to go out there and perform, and you have a lousy performance, and like people are like laughing like, yo, look at this kid, like he's not nice, like what the hell is he doing out there? Because you're automatically expected to be nice because of the fact that you're black. The color of your skin deems that you should be good at this. It relates back to the black body, and ideals of what we are to be, and who constructs these ideals is also something to think about. So yeah, that's my answer.
Definitely pretty nerve wracking. I mean, that's that's just a natural being in front of a crowd of people. They I'm not sure whether they expect you to perform, because with me, you know, it's a little bit different. People are looking for looking for something to poke fun at. It used to be me wearing short socks, but
Mm,
'cause that was the thing. They used to wear long. They wore long socks 10 years ago, but I wore short socks. You know,
short socks,
and
short socks are the wave.
uh,
Now I'm saying short socks are the wave.
they are as long as they're not falling off the foot.
Yeah.
So you say this there's like an expectation for you to get to a higher level to like maybe provide for like your family, like they could expect you to get to the NBA,
Yeah.
just because you know what I mean.
Wait, can you repeat that?
Yeah, I would say, is there an expectation of you to get to a higher level and kind of be like, you know, like the superstar of the family and kind of, be be kind of the provider in a way?
Yes. So that's interesting. A lot of us, when I was in high school, a lot of us would strive for D1 level basketball and then NBA. So playing Division I basketball is the first step. So in high school, you're going really hard. You're trying to outdo everybody on your basketball team. You're trying to outdo everybody in your community, in your inner circle when you're playing. So that automatically brings pressure. And when you're going through these things, you know, you're just focused solely on wanting to make it to the league that you neglect, you know, just like your mental health, you neglect your family, how your family may feel. You neglect really yourself, and kind of like you're absorbed by wanting to make it to Division I basketball and doing whatever you can. You're always watching videos on basketball. You're only watching like NBA highlights. You're constantly in the gym shooting around and stuff. And like this sounds like a productive person that's on their grind, but you know, it brings so much pressure and such a level of expectancy that I think, you know, it's ultimately negative. And again, it shows how race and the body intersect. Because of the color of my skin, I'm deemed that I feel like I have to bring my family out of the hood and get us out of this, you know, environment through the sole means of playing a sport. So it's just like it's weird how it correlates. But I guess I kind of like, I know I'm being interviewed right now, but like, can you speak on like your kind of experience when it comes to like, was there this level of expectancy?
No, but there was hope. There was hope because I played since I was, you know, in elementary school for the YMCA, and the older I got, the less I felt like I would be in the NBA, because we all wanted to be in the NBA. That was our dream. Me and my brother, we wanted to make it to the NBA. We wanted to, you know, be among the elite. And, you know, the older I got, the more I was just like, yeah, I mean, that's not as likely as I thought it would be, but there wasn't really a dependency on it. It was just a dream. I don't think anyone expected me to get there. I know I thought my brother was going to get there. He used to talk about how he was headed to the NBA, and injuries ruined that, or whatever. But I was really rooting for him. I was rooting for my brother more so than myself. So yeah.
And I guess like to speak to that, bro, like it upsets me so much how black kids, black bodies are fed this dream and this narrative that we can get to the NBA. I kid you not, like literally up until like the age of like 16, 17, which was like 4 or 5 years ago, I literally thought I was going to be in the NBA making millions. Like I literally thought that dream. I mean, I was only 5'10", like 160 pounds. And I literally had this narrative in my head that like, yo, I'm going to make it somehow. I'm going to make it. Like, granted, like it's a great mindset to have, but like I'm chasing the wrong thing at the end of the day. And it pisses me off because I go outside in my Bronx community. I go to shoot around on the courts now. I'm older now. I just go to play with the younger kids, you know, give them advice and stuff. And so many kids there all have the same exact dream, is just to be in the NBA. And like they put so much pressure on like a single pickup game, like outside in the park having fun, you know, is how I see it now. Is just being outside having fun. But they have so much pressure and they just have this level of intensity that like if they don't win this game, then it like sheds light on, I guess, like, you know, their overall skill level and whether they're going to be successful in the future with making their NBA dreams come true. It really upsets me because we're sold this false narrative. And, you know, it's like J. Cole said, man, there's every black kid want to be a baller, but there's only 12 slots on the Pistons. So I think that's a good way to kind of wrap up that question.
Yeah. So, and I have my own answer to this question, but just to put things into perspective, do you feel like black kids rely on basketball, or does basketball rely on black kids?
Oh man, the question, the infamous question: do black kids need basketball to succeed, or does basketball need black kids to succeed? Oh man. Okay, so I'll let you talk after this. I guess that's a good question. It's hard to think about it. I feel like basketball needs black kids to succeed. Um, let's look at it this way: the NBA is composed of over 75% black people, and then the rest are uh, foreigners from people from other countries, and then American whites. Um, there are no Asians currently in the NBA. Jeremy Lin's not in there. So yeah, those are the demographics. So you're seeing this large chunk of black folks that are playing basketball that were sold this narrative since they were younger. The Kyrie Irvings, LeBron Jameses, the James Hardens, the Kevin Durant's. All of these people are black. The superstars of the NBA are black people. Anthony Davis, the Giannis Antetokounmpos, all of these guys sold this narrative when they're younger. So being as though we see that it's over 75% of black people in the NBA, I think that the NBA thrives off of black people being in it, you know? We make up the majority of it. So without us, you know, who else would be playing in the NBA? Would it even be as competitive? Would you get as many sales? Would you be able to advertise this league as much as you know you want to, and make as much money as you want to without the work of black people? So I definitely think, to conclude, I think that the NBA needs black and brown bodies in order to succeed. Yes, I do.
It does. I mean, I'm not even gonna say it seems like it's a fact. They sell the dream. They sell the dream just so people can chase after it. Um, and some people have what it takes. Some people have what it takes to achieve that dream. But at the end of the day, there's gonna be a lot of people who come across a moment where they're like, I don't know if I can do it, you know, and it's tough that people come to that realization. But as far as right now, like I want to know. Obviously, you have other plans. Do you still have a bit of some type of side plan to get your way into a basketball career, or is that it's going to be a hobby from here on out?
Oh man. So I like to say, I say this jokingly, but if I can find my way into the NBA by the time I'm 25 years old, then hey, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna be making millions. I'm gonna go with it. I gotta get that shot like Steph Curry though, because I'm kind of short for NBA. I'm like barely 5'11". You feel me? I gotta get that shot going. But no. In all honesty, basketball is a hobby, something I just do for fun now. And personally, now that I'm 20, 21, about to turn 22, I like giving advice to the younger cats now. I feel like it's very fulfilling. You know, because I was once in their position. I had hoop dreams. I was trying to make it. And it's hard because sometimes I try to be aware of what I'm saying because I don't want to deter them from their dream. But at the same time, like, I think it is important to be realistic. So I guess like finding a balance, you know, and how to give them that advice is definitely like important. But I love giving them advice on their game though in general. Just be like, yo, take shots like this, you know, yo, space the court like that. Yo, make sure you're standing here when he's over there so you can get that pass and take an easier shot. Like, make sure you get in the weight room and get big, because that's something I wish I had known. It takes a lot of weight to be able to actually run with the big dudes. So, like, giving them advice, I think is crucial, and it's kind of like what I like to do now. You know, I can't take basketball competitively or seriously. It puts you in too much of a narrow mindset, you know. It's a very narrow mindset. That's why we call it selling them a dream, because when you sell them that dream, that product is all they're going to receive. So their mindset is focused solely on that product, what they have bought what they have bought into. So yeah, that's my answer.
And I'm a strong advocate for doing what you want to do. You know, like after the dreams that you want, and I think depending on how you achieve it, anything is possible. Like there's not just NBA. There's there's the ABA league. There's countless other basketball leagues that you can actually make money from. Some people literally, I mean, it ranges from that, from like sponsorships and contracts, all the way to like dudes who literally perform on the street and do like basketball, street hustling and shit like that, And I'm not just talking about betting. I'm talking about like globetrotter type stuff,
Yeah, that's
They'll
true.
be like make themselves like an attraction. Um,
True.
there's many other ways. You could do whatever you want. You could make a YouTube channel, which is what I'm doing. You could talk about whatever. You could talk about basketball.
Basketball reels.
You can still live the basketball life,
Exactly.
not playing in the NBA, or playing in another league. There are countless ways to centralize that.
I think that's so important because a lot of kids don't understand this, and that's where I feel like the NBA is the NBA and this false narrative of the black body having to be linked with basketball. I think that's where there's a lot of damage and harm to kids because kids don't understand that as you get older, there's more ways to invite your passion into your life. There's more ways to do what you want and do what you like to do while maintaining a job that's not necessarily based in the industry of your passion. Like you just said, you can start up a YouTube channel doing basketball tutorials. You can do a bunch of things. Like there's so much you can do that's still basketball related. I think it's like so important. You could be a basketball coach. There's multiple things where you can still be basketball involved. But the fact that every single black kid feels like they have to, or every single black kid, like in my neighborhood, most of them at least, they feel like they just have to make it to the league, and it just brings this sense of competitiveness. And when they don't make it, it's like when the black body doesn't make it, when it is given a false narrative and false dream. From what I've seen, the damage is that these kids end up feeling like they have nothing else to live for because they couldn't make it to the NBA. They couldn't reach their dream. So they kind of feel like they're failures. So what ends up happening is they stay in their hoods, they stay in their neighborhoods, and they end up smoking a lot. They end up doing other harder drugs. They end up just going down a very, very downhill path, and they don't even understand. They don't even understand why it's happening. But a lot of them put this pressure on themselves and expectations of bringing their family out the hood, and these expectations that they were never able to achieve, it ends up ruining them for the rest of their life. And I know a lot of people like this. And it's kind of sad. I have a 16-year-old friend that lives downstairs from me right now. And his like mindset is so solely on the NBA and basketball. And like I hate to break it to him, but I'm not sure if he's even going to be able to make the league. There's just a lot of competition out there. Just a lot out there. It's so much nowadays, especially in this day and age where everybody has access to like a basketball court and like a basketball and like some gear to look fancy in. Everybody's going to want to go out there and play, and it's just like it's an overstimulation, man. That's my.
If you carry a ball around with you 24/7, if you're dribbling a basketball everywhere you go, then that's the first step, because you gotta breathe it, you gotta live it and breathe it.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I was like that. I was one of those kids that I brought the ball with me to the store. I brought the ball here and there, and it's like, look at me now. Now I want to be a writer, for crying out loud. It's just like life just switches like that, Crazy.
But despite any shortcomings, any dreams that didn't quite come to fruition, do you think back on your experience playing, during whenever, whether it be middle school or high school, I'm sure you still value those experiences. I think basketball always, in a way, gives to us things that we don't really look for, because if we don't get to the NBA, we might feel disappointed. But I value my memories, playing for any team that I played for, Would you say, like, do you still just enjoy the aspect of storytelling, like talking about games that you've had in the past?
I love it. I love it. One of my favorite games was with you, like almost 2 years ago now, back in like early 2019 when I hit that game-winning shot from like the mid-range. That's another story though. But like honestly, to answer the beginning part of your question, I think that um, yeah, I love looking back on those days, and I think it taught me so much. Like during my time playing basketball, I played basketball most of my life growing up. I didn't take it seriously though until high school, until I felt like obligated to like get to college and play D1 and then go to the NBA after as a career. And it taught me so much resiliency. And because I went so hard in it, I was practicing every day in like garages. Like I couldn't find anywhere in the city to go like practice and be alone. I would be in garages and like apartment buildings and like the lobbies, just like working on my ball handling skills. And like it taught me that like if I'm passionate about something, then I'm gonna go hard after it. I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna give it my all. So that's what it taught me, I think. And it taught me resiliency because after failing, to make the varsity basketball team my sophomore and junior year, um, it really taught me that like I gotta make sure I bounce back. I gotta figure out a way. What's next? What's next? And I think resiliency is key in life. So playing basketball taught me those things, and I think there's such valuable lessons. Also, it gave me some really nice skills. Like since I was going so hard, like I got some pretty nice skills that I still have to this day. Obviously, I'm not as like fluent and fluid as I used to be, but hey, like I could still get maybe cross up a guy or two, get him to drop, hit a nice three or something like that. I was playing ball the other day. I just hit a game winner in these kids' faces, and they were all pissed off. But yeah, looking back on the memories as well is always awesome. I love playing basketball, man. Have a bunch of good ass, you know, memories playing ball and stuff like that.
Yeah. Be something that we have for life. Um, we're always going to have that privilege of being able to escape through the sport of basketball. I mean, I still, as often as I can, go out and play. Even up till it got too cold out. But I found some course, and it's pretty common to just go out there and shoot around. It's always going to be something that's stuck with me. Just basketball. Even having the privilege of playing for SUNY Broome. I only played for a short time, but um, it was a tool for me to kind of escape from schoolwork and things like that.
Sure,
So
sure is.
it still sticks with us to this day. If we didn't get what we wanted through NBA or careers, we still get therapy from it. So
Agree.
uh,
Agree. And that's what I think it should be used for therapy. Getting outside and just blowing off some steam and playing ball. But when it's used as a dream that's being sold to kids so that they see it as their future careers, I think it could get really detrimental and be really kind of toxic at times, especially in today's day and age. So yeah.
definitely. Well, I've run through my list of questions. If there's anything else you want to throw out there, go ahead.
I think that's all I got. You know, I guess to conclude, really, black bodies uh, have expectations on them in relation to basketball. Have expectations um, that are sometimes just too high, that are sometimes toxic, and can be very detrimental. To a lot of things that we're trying to achieve. I think it's a very narrow view. I think it's a dream that we're being sold. And I think, with the over commodification of the NBA today, I think that a lot of kids kind of have this false narrative that they are NBA players when in reality, like they're not. I'm not saying that I hate to sound derogatory, but I feel like I guess I want to word it in a way where I wish people would look at other options as careers and kind of like have a plan B. I think it's super important. But That's all I got. I appreciate you for having me on here today, Soup. Supreme Soup. I appreciate you for asking me these questions. I was able to vent good because this is not talked about enough. It's not.
Right. That's fair.
There's only slots on the Pistons, like J. Cole says, and then each NBA player is worth 10 to 15 million, or makes 10 to 15 million, but like their owners are capitalizing off of them like billions and millions, every season. It's weird, man. It's weird. It's almost like a slave trade in a sense. Like people were comparing it to that, where these college players get locked into contracts as soon as they graduate or as soon as they get out into the NBA. They're locked into these contracts, and it's just like they have to perform. They have to do a task, or their life is like pretty much over.
A lot of people. I don't think NBA players deserve the slander that they get for, I guess when people use it as a comparison to teachers and things, like, yeah, I think teachers should be paid more and everything like that. But a lot of people will criticize NBA players for making millions when it is the owners that are billionaires and who are really capitalizing, who don't, I feel like still don't get enough of that scrutiny that's cast upon the players. At the end of the day, there's a lot of people who should be making more, but people at the top are not one of those. So that's just something for people to think about,
It very much is. These owners are making billions off of these players. Come on now. Come on.